Young girls, welcome you all to the next session on Python programming course. We are currently in module 3. In our previous sessions, we covered object-oriented programming approach with class definitions and creating objects and some of the built-in attribute methods, then the features of Python, all those things we discussed. And we need to further discuss on inheritance, polymorphism, etc. So before that, let us very briefly discuss about arrays in Python, then we will get back to inheritance and polymorphism. So in arrays in Python, we will be talking about the array module as well as the NumPy module. So in this session, we will be talking about the array module. Before that, let us see what is an array. All of you know that an array is a collection of items stored at contiguous memory locations, and the idea is to store multiple items of the same type together. That is the point to be noted here. We had already seen list, tuple, dictionary, etc. So some of the other data structures that are available in Python. If you take list and tuple, we can have different types of data stored in that particular collection. Whereas if you are going to have arrays, the point to be noted here is the collection of items must be of same type. And this makes it easier to calculate the position of each element by simply adding an offset to a base value. That is the memory location of the first element of the array. Generally, it will be denoted by the name of the array. So all these points you had already covered in your C, C++ and Java. You are all very familiar to these concepts. Arrays are sequence types and behave very much like list itself, except that the type of object stored in the arrays is constrained to one particular data type. As there is no predefined data structure for arrays in Python, two different modules are used to handle array data structure. When we talked about the basic elements, we discussed all the number data types like integer, float, string, etc. And along with that, we also talked about list, tuple, dictionary, sets, etc. By the time, we did not talk about a data structure called arrays because Python by default has no predefined data structure for arrays, for which Python has two different modules to handle the array data structure. One is the array module, the other one is the NumPy module. So we are going to talk about the array module. So please observe here, when you have an array, if the array is of length 10, the first index will be always starting with 0 and the last index is going to be 9 if the length of the array is 10. So if the length of the array is n, then the last element will have the index n minus 1. So the indices will range from 0 to n minus 1 if the length of the array is n. So please make a note of it. The indices of an array ranges from 0 to n minus 1 if the length of the array is n. Okay, this is the point to be noted. And let us see the array module. And this array module defines an object type which can compactly represent an array of basic values. You can have characters, integers, floating point numbers, etc. And the type is generally specified at the object creation. When I say object creation, array module will be used to create an object of array, and that object will be created by specifying what type you want for that particular elements. Okay, so whenever you are creating an array object, by the time we have to specify a type code which will be generally a single character. So only one character we will be using to specify the type code. So the type code will decide what is the data type of that particular array. So these are the different type codes available. You can just make a note of it. These are the different type codes available, and the corresponding C data type is also mentioned. in which Python will have these data types, right? So if you use B and capital B, it will be taken as an integer, and if you use Unicode, it will be taken as Unicode character, and if you have H, it is all for integers. H, capital H, I, capital I, L, capital L, Q, capital Q. All these are used for different data types, which are all of integers itself. But if you use it in Python, obviously these are all going to be only integers. And F and D are used for float data type, and if you want to have Unicode character, then you can use U. These are the different data types available for creating an array object. Let us see an example of how an array can be created using array module. So what you have to do, obviously when it is a module, we had already seen in our previous session how you can import a module and how you can make use of that module in your application, right? So since array is a module, you need to import it, and you can give an alias name for that also. So import array as ARR. And how do you create an array? You can simply say the module name. ARR is an alias for the array module. So use that module name dot array. This is the method which is used for creating an array object. And you can observe here I am giving a type code. This is what you call as type code. And this type code says you want to create an integer array. And these are the list of elements that you are going to have for that particular integer array. Okay. So just import the array module and create an integer array by saying array module dot array, and the first parameter should be the type code, which is a single character. Observe it, it is a single character, and the second parameter is going to be the list of elements you want in that particular array. So A becomes an array of integers with 3 elements, 1, 2, 3. And how do you print the integer array? Obviously it is going to be a collection, so you can use for statement. Just say for I in range 0, 3, you are going to have A of I printed, and you give end, it instead of end line you are going to have end and a space bar, and then you give print statement just to complete that particular printing, right? So this is a simple example that shows how an array can be created. So this part is how to create an array object using the array module, and this part shows that how the integer array which has been created using the array module will be printed, right? So just to access the elements of that particular array, you can have this for statement. So this example just showed you how to create an array and how to access the elements of an array. Fine. Another example, and here we are going to see how an array of floating point data type can be created. And I am going to use the import statement to import the array module, and I am going to create an array with float data type. You can observe here I am using the ARR, which is the array module alias name here. It is an alias name, and I invoke the array method, and observe here I am using D for the floating point data type, and these are the list of elements which I want in that particular array. So and the array will be B. Array B is created with this particular data, and if you want to print those values, again you can have for statement for I in range 0 to 3. So the range will be 0, 1, 2, and when it reaches 3, it will come out of the for loop. And there I am printing each element by using the index I, B of I, and here I am going to use the end, because always the print statement will have the end as the new line character. So to avoid the new line character, what I do, I give end is equal to blank space and not new line character. And finally, after printing all the elements, I am just printing the new line character here. Okay. So this is another simple example that shows how we can create an array and how we can access the elements of various data types. So the earlier example showed how an array of integers can be created, and this example shows how an array of floating point data types can be created. Now when you take the array modules, the array module has the different data items also. So these are 3 data items that are available in the array module. You have type codes, type code, then item size. Type codes is nothing but it is a string with all the available type codes. So whatever type codes you have, all those type codes will be given as a string using this particular data item. Then I have array.typecode. This gives us the type code character we used when creating the array in Python. And item size returns the number of bytes one item from the Python array takes internally. So how many bytes are taken by integer data type, how many bytes are taken by float data type, that will be shown by the item size. Here the type code will say whether it is an integer, whether it is a floating point data type, or whether it is a Unicode character, that will be shown by the type code. Then type codes is a string which will show you all the available type codes in an array. Then we have array module. The array module has lots of methods which are used to manipulate on array elements such as insert, append, remove, index, count, etc. You have lots of methods available which are used for manipulating the array elements, like you want to insert an array element, or you want to append an array element, or you want to remove an element, or you want to find out what element is available at particular index, or how many items are there in the element, all those, in the array. All those things can be found using the different methods available in the array module. Let us see what are the different methods. These are the array class methods available: append, buffer info, byte swap, then count, then extend, from list, from Unicode, index, insert, pop, to Unicode, to list, to bytes, reverse, remove. These are some of the methods available. So we are not going to see all these methods. Some of the methods we will be discussing here. The rest of the methods you can further explore. Let us see the array methods. If you want to add some elements to the array, if you want to add some elements to the array by using the if you want to add some elements to the array, you can use the built-in method called insert. This is the method which is used for adding a new element. A new element can be added at the beginning, or you can add it at the end, or any given index of the array. So when I use insert function, you can add a new element. Where do you add it? You can add it at the beginning, or at the end, or in any given index. Then append is another method which is used to add the value mentioned in its arguments at the end of the array. That is the difference. Insert is used for adding an element at the beginning, end, or any given index, or if you want to add the elements only at the end of the array, you can make use of the append function. And if you want to access the array items, then you have to use the index operator. So use the index operator, square bracket, to access an item in an array. And remember, the index must be always an integer which ranges from 0 to n minus 1 if the size of the array is n. Then we have another array method called as remove, which is used for removing an element from the array. but it will be raising an error if the element does not exist in the array. This is the point to be noted. So whenever you are using remove function, please remember you have to use the try and catch block, otherwise your program gets terminated with the error if the element does not exist. Let us see an example, then it will be more clear for you. Then the remove method will remove elements, only one element at a time. If you want to use, or if you want to remove a range of elements, then you have to use an iterator. Okay, so the remove method removes only one element at a time. If you want to remove more than one element, you need to have any kind of iterator, something like a loop or a while condition or a for loop. Those kind of things you have to use. And another function is the pop function, which the function can also be used to remove and return an element from the array, but by default it removes only the last element of the array. That is the difference here. Here it removes only one element at a time. The element will be specified by an index, whereas pop will remove an element from the array, which will be always a last element. So that is the difference between remove and pop. It is something like insert is used to insert an element at any given index, or at the beginning or at the end, whereas append is used for adding an element only at the end. In the same way, remove is used for removing an element from any position of the array, whereas pop will be removing only the last element of the array. But the same pop can also be used to remove an element from a specific position by using an index as its argument. So if you use an index to the pop method, then it will be removing the specified element, right? Then you have index method, which is used to search an element in the array. We use if you want to use if you want to search an element in the array, we can make use of the index method, and it will be returning the index of the first occurrence of the value given as an argument. So if you want to search whether element 20 is available in an array, or an element 100 is available in an array, or an element like ABC is available in an array, then you can make use of the index. So it will be returning the index. Suppose if 20 is available at the first position of the array, it will return the index as 0. Then if you want to update an element in the array, just reassign a new value to the desired index we want to update. You can simply say a of I is equal to 10, or a of 2 is equal to 25. If you do that, you can update the element. Then apart from all these methods, some slicing operation can also be performed on array with the use of colon, which you are already familiar of. We had make use of the slice operation with colon in our list. The same way you can use it in array also. If you want to print the elements from the beginning to your range, then you can use colon index. To print the elements from end, you can use colon minus index. We'll see examples for all these things. And if you want to print the elements from specific index till the end, then you can use index colon. If you want to print elements within your range, then you have to give starting index and the ending index. If you want to print the whole list, you can simply use colon. And if you want to print the whole array in reverse order, then you can use double colon minus 1. Okay, so let us see an example, then it will be more clear for you. Right, so this is array module demo program, the Python program which is used to demonstrate array module methods. And you can see here how we are importing the array module. You can import array and you can give an alias called ARR. Otherwise you have to type array again and again in all the method invocation. So instead of that you can have ARR. Then if you want to create an array, I am creating an array. Create an array with int data type. How do you do that? You can say module name, this is the module name, dot array, then the first argument will be the data type, then the second argument will be the list of items. Okay, so I am creating an integer array called A by using the method called array. Okay, now I am going to just display the array. So before inserting any element to this created array, I am going to display the array. So you have for I in range 0 to 3, not 3, actually I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. Okay, so you can have 0 to 6 and you can print all the elements. Let me comment all these things. I am going to comment all these. Let us see them one by one. Okay, I clear the console. Yeah, this is the program. Okay, so this is the code that we are going to execute now. I run it. You can see here the array before insertion, or if you want the created array. Okay, let us have it as the created array A. I don't say it as before insertion or after insertion. Okay, so I run it again. You can say the created array A is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, now I will start with the insert method. That is the first method we had seen. Before that, if you want to see the type code, let us take print ARR dot type codes. Okay, I run it. You can see what are the different type codes available. So these are the type codes we had seen. Hope you remember. These are the different type codes we had seen. I will show you the type codes. The different type codes: B, capital B, U, H, capital H. These are the different type codes available. So which will be given as a string. So it is given as a string. Different type codes of the array. Okay. And if you want to print the type code, I say A dot type code. I run it. You can see integer, right? The type code is integer here. The data type is integer. So it says it is I. Okay. And if you want to know the item size, I want to know the item size. It says 4 bytes. So for integer it takes 4 bytes. Okay. So the data items type codes returns a string that contains all the available type codes in Python, and this type code returns what is the data type of that particular array, and the item size gives you the bytes, number of bytes of that particular data item. Okay. Then so these are the different data items. Let me call it as array data items. Fine. Next we are going to see the array methods. What are the different array methods available? Fine. So we had seen different array methods. Let us go one by one. We will use the insert and append method first. Okay, I am going to insert 400 at position 1. I am going to insert 400 at position 1. Now what are the elements we have? we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this is at position 0 and this is at 1, the 2, 3, 4, 5. So let us see what happens after the insertion. Let us see what happens after the insertion. I am going to execute the program. So after insertion, you can see I asked it to insert at position 1. So that means at index 1. So index 1 will be, this is index 0, index 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay. So after 10, at position or at index 1, 400 is inserted and it has moved all the other elements away. Okay. So what I did, I just printed what are the available elements in A and it has printed it. Okay. So this is how insert method works. Okay. Now if you want to add an element using the append method, you want to add an element using the append method, right? I am going to append 700. So what happens, append method will be adding the element only at the end of the array. So let us see what happens. I run it and you can see it has 10, 400, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then finally it has appended 700 at the end. So insert method inserted at a particular position, whereas append method inserted the element only at the end. Okay. Now how do you access the elements? Using the operator, access operator. So you can say what is the value available at A of 0, what is the value available at A of 3, what is the value available at A of 6. So just give the index number here, it will give you the value at that particular position. Okay. Then you have pop method. You can use pop method to remove the last element. So that means when you use pop, it will remove the last element. What is the last element here? 700 will be removed. After removing 700, 60 becomes the last element. So 60 will be removed. So let us see what happens. After pop, let us try printing the array also. Okay. So this is how to access the elements using the index operator. Using the index operator. Fine. Now this is simply using the pop method, which will be removing the last element. So I am using it 2 times. After using it 2 times, I am going to display the array. So let us see what is the output here. I am going to run the program. Let me clear the console. I run the program again. You can see the created array. So this is this output, the created array. So it prints, this is the created array, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then I printed type codes. So I get type codes here. Then I get the type code. I get the item size. Then after inserting 400, the array is now 10, 400, 20, 30, 50. Then after appending 700, the array becomes 10, 400, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 700. And I am going to just access the element using the index operator. So A of 0 will be 10. And this is A of 1, this is A of 2 and this is A of 3. So A of 3 is 30. Now I am going to pop the element. Fine. I am going to pop the element. So the last element will be popped. Popped is used for removing. Fine. So I am removing 700, which is the last element. And then after removing 700, 60 becomes the last element. So I am using pop again, that removes 60. Now after the pop, I try to display the collection called as array. And when I displayed, it is having only 10, 400, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 60 and 70 are already popped out. Now we had also seen using the pop you can remove the last element. Apart from that, if you give index number to the pop, it removes the particular element from the array. So let us see. We are going to use pop to remove the element at second position. Okay, so at second, not second position, at the second index, at index number 2. Okay, now what do? You simply say pop and you give the argument 2, and you can observe here earlier I have not given any argument, but for a specific element I gave the argument here. So after pop, what will be the output? So let us run the program again. I run it, and the popped element here is 20, right? So array after pop, it is having 10, 400, 20, 30, 40. Okay, and I am trying to pop the element at index number 2. Which will be index number 2? This is 0, and this is index number 1, and this is index number 2. Okay, so it is popping the element 20. Once it is popped, the array will contain only 10, 400, 30, 40, 50. So 20 is not available in the array. So this is how we can use the remove and pop for removing the element, last element, or removing a specified element. And let us see how remove method can be used. Okay, right? So using the remove, you can remove the first occurrence of that particular value, right? And as I told you, now what are the elements you will have? You have 10, 400, 30, 40, 50. So let us try removing 30. Let us try removing 30. I am going to remove 30. So after removing 30, let us try displaying it. Okay, so I clear the console and I run it again, and you can see here 30 is removed and I get only 10, 400, 40, 50. And as I told you, if you try to remove an element which is not available in the array, what will happen? It is going to give you an error. So to avoid that error, what we have to do? We have to use the exception handle. So just let us try removing an element. 200 is not available in our array. So I am trying to remove it. It is going to show you an error. I run it and you can see value error. The available item is not available in the list. Which item? 200 is not available in the list. So to avoid this error, what we have to do? We have to give it inside the try block. I give it in the try block and I say except. I am going to print. I am going to print, just say value error, or you can say the element does not available in the list. Element does not exist. That will be better. Instead of giving value error, you can say element does not exist. Okay. So then it comes to the else, you can say print element removed successfully. Fine. Okay. So let us run the program again now. Let us see what happens. I run the program and now it says the element does not exist and the program does not get terminated abruptly. So that is the point to be noted here. and you can see how the try and except block helps you in continuing the execution of the program. This is very, very important. Okay, so these are the different methods we had seen in Python. We had seen insert method, append method, then the index operator, remove method. We had seen pop with index, and we had index also. And if you want, we can see the index also. Suppose if you want to see the index of a particular element, right? So you want to see index of element 50. So what you do, you simply say a dot index of 50. That's it. So run it. Sorry, it says invalid syntax. I have to give comma, I missed it. I clear, I run it, and it says index of element 50 is 4. Correct. This is 0 and this is index 1, 2, 3 and 4. So index of element 50 is 4. So you can use it for searching an element. And apart from that, if you want to print the elements from the beginning to a range, right? You want to print the elements from the beginning to a range. So if you want to print from beginning to a range, you can say a index colon, then I want to display up to 3, right? So let us see what happens. From the beginning to range array I, it says 10, 400 and 30. And as I told you, whenever you give range, the last index will not be used. So it says 0, 1 and 2. Index 3 will not be treated here. Okay. Then another one, to print the elements from the end, you have to use minus index. So let us just copy this, minus index. If I give minus, let us see what happens. You can see 10 and 400. That means what? From the end. From the end means you have 10, 400, 30, 40 you have. So from the end, this element will be ignored, and from minus 3. So that means from this position. So this will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and here it will be taken as the first element, then from the not from the beginning, from the end. From the end. Okay. So this is how the output will be displayed. You can observe here. So right from minus 3. Right from minus 3. So it will be treating this as 0, minus 1, minus 2 and this is minus 3. Minus 3 to the first element in the reverse order. Minus 3 to first element. And if you take it as minus 1. If you take it as minus 1. You can see this is 0 and this will be taken as minus 1. So from 40, then 30, 410 it will be taken. Okay. Then what is the next one? To print elements from specific index till the end, you can use it. So from a specific index. So I want to from 2 to the last element. So if you run it, it will from 2. So index number 2. That means this is 0, this is 1 and index number 2 to end. 2 to end means 30, 40 and 50. Okay, great. Then we have to print the elements within your range starting to end. So if you give 2 to 5, let us see what happens. It is, this is index number 2, 0, 1, 2. So 2, 3, 4. 5 is not there, so you get only 30, 40, 50. Fine. Then if you want to print the whole list, you can simply say without any index. If you give, it will give you the whole list 10, 400, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Then if you want to print the whole array in the reverse order, then you can give colon minus 1. Colon minus 1 will give you in the reverse order. So you get 50, 40, 30, 400 and 10. So these are the different slicing operations that can be done on an array. Okay. So that's it about the array module. In the next session, we'll be talking about the NumPy module and how NumPy module can be used for array manipulation. Thank you.